If you've been listening or watching me for a very long time, you would also know that I have a very good addiction for books. I am a bibliophile. According to the Oxford Dictionary, a bibliophile is a person who collects or has great love for books. So yeah, I love books. Recently, I've developed a keen interest in books which has to do with existentialism and philosophy. I mean books which questions the existence of life, existence of man, and existence of, this world. I got drawn to this type of genre because it gives out the raw truth. It says things in a melancholy tone, and in this stage of my life, or this phase of my life, I think I deserve to know the raw truth and know the meaning of life. I actually had an existential crisis for the past 2 or 3 years, and I'm still having it, but at least I'm making a headway. Recently, I have been introduced to Japanese books, and I have loved Japanese books because of their raw truth and also their minimalistic culture. And I must say, I've also developed a toxic trait which I think I need to see a therapist for that. What is this toxic trait?
Go and ask your grandfather.
So, anytime I hear about suicide of a writer, someone writing a book and later committing suicide, I want to read a book. I want to know what person was going through. I want to get in touch with the emotions and all that. And I think there's something I need to address though. And most Japanese books I've read have this infatuation with suicide, and I think it's troubling, but I mean sometimes too. I would like to know the person's mind, so one way or the other, yeah, it's entertaining to read these minds of the people who write books and later commit suicide. Talking about suicide, I want to use this opportunity to thank the Ghana Parliament for criminalizing attempted suicide. I mean, for a while, I have been talking about this, and I've been chastising the members of Parliament for not, addressing issues and legislations like this that could be changed from the Criminal Act of 1960. And so now that they have addressed the Criminal Act of suicide as not a criminal act anymore, and they've addressed as a mental condition, I will say a big thank you to the members of Parliament. Yeah. Now back to my obsession with Japanese philosophy or Japanese literature, and so I came across a couple of Japanese writers who are now my favorites right now. Among 2 of them are 2 depressing people. One was depressed who committed suicide, and the other one was also schizophrenic who also committed suicide. All in their 30s. And a weird thing about these 2 I'm talking about is that one was idolizing the other. So the first who was a schizophrenic is by the name Ryunosuke Akutagawa. He is a very good short story writer, and he influenced another writer called Osamu Dazai, who also committed suicide out of depression and finding the meaning of life, which I don't know whether he did or he couldn't find it. But anyway, this video isn't talking about them. I just mentioned them because I like their stories. My all-time favorite Japanese writer is by the name Haruki Murakami. He is a 74-year-old writer who was cheated out of a Nobel Prize for literature because, I don't know whether they didn't understand his works or what, but honestly, with me, I think he deserved a Nobel Prize, but that's a story for another day. So Haruki Murakami is a music enthusiast, and he even has a jazz bar he was managing. I don't know whether he's still managing, but he had a jazz bar he was managing with his wife, and I think after that, according to some sources, he had some, bad behaviors which he wanted to, do away with. So he started running, and then he saw to the love of book. So he had a routine or a regimen which he uses every day in his writing skills, which, I think it's a good discipline that he had learned so far during the years. Murakami is a 74-year-old man, and most of his characters, so far the books I've read, most of his characters are characterized by men trying to know women, men who have no idea they don't understand women, like men questioning the actions of women and men trying to know women. So basically, that's most of the things he addresses, which I personally relate with. Us, personally, I've spent decades and decades trying to understand women, but no, honestly, I can't. And I've used to be a sim before. I've used to be also a player before, so I still don't understand women, and I think that Akutagawa still doesn't understand women, even he trying to write about them. But that's a story for another day. Yeah, so most of his stories are characterized by the Beatles and, men having sex with women who they are not in love with, or either men being cheated on and, knowing that they are being cheated on but pretend as if they play dumb. And the funny thing about it is that most of them have this weird sex life and sexual relationship with women. I mean, it addresses the raw truth in relationship, which a lot of people and the mass media have tried to market it in another light, but it's not like that. And I'm not gonna lie, most of the times I see myself in most of his characters, and I think that is a mark of a good writer. So far I've read only 3 of his books. The first one is Norwegian Wood, the second one is first person singular, and the last one is Men Without Women. And among all the 3, my favorite is Men Without Women. And I want to use this opportunity to say a little bit about the book. So Men Without Women is made up of 7 short stories. It's a compilation of 7 short stories of different men trying to understand women and trying to know women. I mean, if you're a woman and you read this book with a feministic ideology, you might think Akutagawa is a misogynist, but it's not so. He was just writing the truth of men. It looks like nowadays feminists think that anything or the truth of men sounds misogynistic, but I mean, that's a story for another day. So the first story is about an old actor by the name Kufaku, who had a new chauffeur who was, surprisingly a lady called Misaki. The most important part of that particular story is about the last conversation they had in the story. Kufaku, who was the actor, was married a long time ago to another actress. And during the course of their marriage, the actress was cheating on him. He knew his wife was cheating, but he pretended as if he didn't know. He played dumb, and the wife didn't know that he knew. I think he was able to hide this because of his profession too, because he was an actor. He could hide it, and that was a perk. That was how he could, hide his knowledge of that from his wife. Talk about perks of learning how to act. You could bring it to your real life. So he went further to befriend the one the wife cheated him on with. According to him, he just wanted to befriend and know why the wife was cheating on him with him. But later he came to realize during the conversation that he actually wanted to use that platform to plot his revenge for the guy, but he couldn't. Kufaku really loved his wife, but it looked like his wife didn't really love him like the way he did. Anyway, the name is Kafuku, not Kufaku. I'm sorry for butchering the name. I'm sorry again for butchering the name. So yeah, later Kafuku's wife got sick, and funny enough, the husband was about the last person to find out that the wife was sick. And yeah, I think I made a little mistake. So yeah, Kafuku was one of the few people the wife wanted, was allowed to see the wife, and the wife didn't want her lover to see her because I don't know whether she was worried of, the lover seeing her in that state. And from my deduction, I think this incident made Kafuku a very reclusive person who didn't have a lot of friends. Yeah, because he loved and trusted his wife dearly, but his wife didn't do the same thing to him. So, and after that, he never really got into any meaningful relationship with a woman after that. So, Kafuku didn't confront the wife about the cheating, and the wife wasted away and the wife died. And he still had the story in him. Personally, I have been in such a situation before. Not to this extreme, but I've been in a relationship where I thought that the one I was dating was also cheating. I don't know. I wasn't able to, get the information, but I felt like it, but I didn't even, confront the person. So some way, somehow, I could relate with what he was going through. And I also wanted to know why the lady was cheating and all that. And when a man loves a woman, he's willing to, cover all these things. But when it's too much, they can't handle it. My favorite quote in that story was this one. Tobacco is a killer. Kafuku said, being alive is a killer. If you think about it, Misaki said, Kafuku laughed. That's one way to see it. So basically, it was like more of a humorous quote, and it's about being alive is a killer. We all are alive. We all live to die. So the next story is about a doctor. I think he was a cosmetic or plastic surgery doctor who normally had affairs with people's wives and boyfriends, and that was what people's wives and girlfriends, and that was what was his target. Those were his target because he didn't want to form any meaningful relationship with a lady. He just wanted to use them for sex, and he had money, so anytime he had these affairs with the ladies, he when there is time for them to marry, he just goes to their wedding and gives them with stuff. His name was Dr. Tokai. And the story was told by someone or some sort of a friend or acquaintance who was more like his gym partner, where they used to play squash together. Tokai also had an assistant who is gay. The assistant knew everything about his schedules and all that. He was able to arrange his schedule to the extent, to a way that would suit his, lifestyle with these women. And this story actually gave an in-depth account of how women could, be in a relationship and also cheat and without being caught and all that. And I would say it was really, really insightful. I don't know, it's fiction, but for some funny reason, it felt like a true account of someone being cheated on. So basically, Dr. Takai was a professional side dude. So yeah, he began to thrive in this lifestyle till he met a married woman he fell in love with. This woman actually, I don't know, but Dr. Takai was so obsessed with this woman that he bought her a lot of stuff and bought her a lot of gifts and all that. So, from the story from the perspective of his sparring part, he didn't get to see Dr. Takai for a very long time, and he found out later that he died. And he died out of depression because he fell in love with a married woman who later betrayed her own husband and Dr. Takai to run off with another guy. So basically, Dr. Takai lost focus and he died out of depression. And coming from an old side dude himself, he have also, been in that situation where you could see how women could lie and all that. These guys, most of these main people are normally clueless about it. And my favorite part of the story, of that particular story, is this one. He broke up relations with his girlfriends on a pretty regular basis. Most of the women with other boyfriends would, at a certain point in time in the relationship, say, I'm very sorry, but I can't see you anymore. I'm getting married soon. In most cases, the decision to get married came just before they were about to turn 30 or 40, just like calendars that sell well at the end of the year. Tokai always took the news calmly with a suitable, rueful smile. It was a shame, but what could you do? Matrimony wasn't for him. Yet, it was, in its way, a sacred institution, one that had to be respected. Yeah. So basically, Dr. Takai they were trying to say that Dr. Takai had respect for the institution of marriage, and he knew when to step to play his part as the side dude, and he knew when to, not to detach or attach. And basically, he did this for so long that he thought that he would get away with it till he fell in love with someone's wife. Yeah, so the book is a very, very nice book, and I encourage a lot of men to read this book. Women too can also read it. It has other stories which was also beautifully written. Yeah, and Haruki Murakami is my coach. He is, the greatest of all time writer from Japan in my books. Yeah, and I would like you to go check out the book. The title of the book again is Men Without Women by Haruki Murakami. The name is ADB, and that was my opinion. I'm now dismissing. Hasta la vista.
And we say bye-bye.